How you doing, movie fans, and welcome back to The Potato, where we're just a whirlwind of movie news and reviews from a couch potato. And if this is your first time here, I would really appreciate your support. Please subscribe. So, when we see that a movie is based on a true story, it's always questionable just how much of it really is. Obviously, Hollywood is going to exaggerate some things for entertainment purposes, and the extent of these exaggerations is going to vary movie to movie, but generally speaking, the plot itself is an event that really happened. But has a movie ever come along where it was so exaggerated to the point where it was all pretty much a lie? Yeah. The 1988 film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport. Let's take a look.
The film is about an army captain named Frank Dukes, who is very experienced in martial arts, and disobeys his superiors by taking part in an illegal and secret martial arts tournament called Kumite, by using the invitation that was intended for his sensei's son who died. Dukes decides to take his place so he can bring glory to his sensei's clan. It's definitely a must-watch for Van Damme fans and anyone who is into martial arts movies. There is no disputing that. Dukes' account of this secret martial arts tournament was first published in a magazine called Black Belt, with very little fact-checking, and outside of some minor tweaks in the film, like he was really in the Marines and not the Army, and it really took place in the Bahamas and not Hong Kong, Dukes has held his ground over the years that pretty much everything else is true, despite a growing number of claims and evidence that has suggested that he might not have only embellished his story a lot, but completely made the whole thing up.
Okay, first we need to talk about the kind of guy that Dukes is outside of this Bloodsport controversy. He's made some pretty hilarious and ridiculous claims over the years, like he was offered $25,000 to kill Steven Seagal, and his father was abducted, but the police didn't take him seriously, so he took the law into his own hands. Seriously, this guy sounds more like a Chuck Norris meme than an actual person. So, let's talk about some of the records that Frank claims to hold. He holds a tug-of-war record where he stood on one leg against 66 people and won. And he apparently did this against 100 people in Mexico City too. He has fought in 329 matches between 1975 and 1980 and retired as undefeated world heavyweight Kumite champion. And he still holds the record for fastest knockout at 3.2 seconds, fastest punch with a knockout at 0.12 seconds, and fastest kick with a knockout at 72 miles an hour. And, let's not forget, most consecutive knockouts in a single tournament with 56. This guy is just amazing.
That's very impressive, right? I mean, to accomplish all this, he must have had a phenomenal teacher. So let's start with his sensei. According to Dukes, when he was 16, he was taken to Japan and trained by a ninjutsu master named Senzu Tanaka, who is supposedly a descendant of a warrior line 40 generations long. Unfortunately, he passed away on July 30th, 1975, and was buried by a ninja clan in California. Wow, 40 generations long? So that means his lineage must be intact, right? Well, no. There's actually no trace in text, nor any indication of this man's existence by independent martial arts experts who have looked into it. Well, he must have descendants, right? Unfortunately, Dukes claims he just doesn't know where they are. Wow, that's just too bad. What about his military career? Dukes was in the Marine Corps Reserve from 1975 to 1981, and he was a total badass. Not only did he kick ass in the Kumite tournament in 1975 that consisted of 60 matches in 30 days, but he sold the prize sword he won in the tournament to save orphans in the Philippines. He also got recruited by the CIA for top secret missions to Southeast Asia and was secretly awarded the Medal of Honor. Only military records show that Dukes never left the United States, and the only injury he ever sustained occurred when he fell off of a truck that he was painting in the motor pool. But of course, according to Dukes, the military is just sabotaging his records and a conspiracy is at hand. Well, maybe he's right. I mean, come on, just look at this photo and all his medals. Well, as many people have pointed out, Frank is wearing all this in an incorrect order. And the Medal of Honor he's wearing is the version that would be given to members of the Army and not the Marines. Dukes actually doesn't dispute this, but said the picture was taken before going to a Halloween party. Alright, well, someone out there must be able to verify Dukes' story. Truly, a Kumite legend like Dukes would be recognized. Someone? Anyone?
Bueller.
This brings us to a few people. First, Richard Robinson, who also allegedly participated in the Kumite. In a telephone interview with the LA Times, he said he met Dukes in the Bahamas and stated that Dukes fought in the heavyweight class. Robinson said he was invited to the competition because he was a good street fighter and an undefeated wrestler for 3 years at Lower Marion High School in Philadelphia. So, red flag right there. You mean to tell me the Kumite will recruit people with good high school resumes? I thought you had to be best of the best. But clearly an impressive athletic student would be remembered at the school, but yeah, nobody does. And he doesn't appear in any team pictures. Of course, Robinson said he was ill the day pictures were taken. It was when no photos of him were found in the school yearbook either that he finally fessed up by saying, quote, "All right, I don't know what to say. Why is this movie so important to you anyway? Frank was a buddy of mine when I was in LA," end quote. Furthermore, according to the screenwriter of Bloodsport, Sheldon Lettish, he was introduced to a man named Richard Bender, who Duke said would corroborate every word of his story and actually participated in the Kumite too. Bender did verify Dukes' claims, but years later went back on everything he said about the fights being true, and claimed Dukes coached him about what to say to back up his story. The list of things that just don't add up in Dukes' favor go on, and I could probably make a few videos on this too, to be honest. But just because it's fairly obvious that Dukes lied about a lot, that doesn't mean he lied about everything. He did establish his own ninjutsu school called Frank Dukes Ryu in 1980, so he must have some form of training from somewhere. Which brings me to the reason why he would have made up these tales to begin with, and of course, it all comes down to money. Martial arts was all the rage in the 70s and 80s, and in order to attract students and look more legitimate than the next guy, instructors would lie or exaggerate their claims. So Dukes just pretty much took all this to the next level.
So what do you guys think? Is Dukes really this amazing warrior and everybody's just out to get him and discredit him? Or is most of this just delusional fantasy and made up for business purposes? Well, everybody, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I will see you soon. Thanks.
Potato.